Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Wake Tech Virtual University Transfer Fair. This is a session for William Peace University. My name is Amanda Tucker, and I'm one of the academic advisors that will be assisting with this presentation today, along with my colleagues behind the scenes. We are so excited to have Ashley Murray with us today from William Peace University. Ashley will be leading us through a PowerPoint presentation and then through a question and answer session. She will have the question and answer session at the very end of the presentation. But if you want to, during the presentation, you are more than welcome to use the Q&A box to go ahead and submit those questions, and just know they'll be answered at the end. I will also go ahead and put a survey link in the announcements at the end of the session today, just to get your feedback about the session. And if you complete the survey, you will be entered into a drawing for a $25 gift card. Thank you so much for joining us today, and I'll go ahead and turn it over to Ashley.
Hi, thank you so much for joining us this Thursday afternoon. I appreciate you guys taking the time out to learn a little bit more about William Peace and what we really can offer to our transfer students. My name is Ashley Murray. I'm the Assistant Director of Admissions at William Peace, but I am also the counselor who works with all of our transfer applicants. I was a transfer student myself. I have an associate's degree from a community college up in the Boston area. I was a first-gen student. I worked full-time, so I've been where a lot of you are and can understand some of the challenges and the obstacles and the things that you're looking for when you're looking to transition to a four-year school. So I'm happy to help in any way that I can. But for now, we'll start with going over a little bit more about who we are at William Peace. Perfect. So we really love to kind of sum up what William Peace is about by saying that you really get the best of both worlds with us. We're a small institution, really beautiful campus, very picturesque, kind of what you really picture in your mind when you're thinking of a traditional campus, with a really tight-knit community here, but right in the middle of downtown Raleigh. So you're minutes away from museums and concerts and restaurants and cultural events and all of those things that the large city has to offer you, including a lot of opportunities for internships and job placement and different career opportunities with all of the corporations and headquarters that are here in the area. We also do participate in the Cooperating Raleigh Colleges program, meaning that you can take classes at a number of other institutions besides just William Peace. So if you wanted to go to Meredith and take an all-women's class, if you wanted to see what it's like to take large state school courses at NC State, these are all options. So you can have that home base at William Peace with that small institution and that tight community feel, while really experiencing what a number of other colleges also are offering. So a couple of fast facts about us, just to give you a little bit more background. As I mentioned, we are a smaller school. We're a private liberal arts institution of approximately 730 undergraduate students, which translates to having really small class sizes. So your average class size usually is around 15 students or so. Our largest class actually only holds 24 students total, so we have 13-to-1 student to faculty ratio, which really means that you're getting to know your professors and your instructors, and they're getting to know you on a personal level, not just as a face in a class that they see or on a chart or something like that. They get to know who you are, what your goals are, can really work with you to help make sure you get there. We have over 30 majors and minors that are available. We actually also have some newly released majors that are not yet listed but are coming our way as well in human resources, in esports administration, and a couple of others that are going to be announced soon. So always make sure you're checking our website for the most up-to-date lists. We are really focused on internships, and we're top ranked for our internships, and we'll talk a little bit about that in just a minute. But it really translates to wanting to make sure that our students are prepared, not just for their time at William Peace, but beyond that as well, which is really evident by the fact that we have 96% of our students who are employed or in graduate school within a year of graduating from Peace. We also really want to make sure that everything's affordable, and this is something that we will also talk about in a little bit more detail later in the presentation, but affordability is something that's really important to us. And we're very transfer friendly. So I think sometimes private schools don't necessarily have the flexibility, but we certainly do. We accept up to 90 transfer credits. They just have to be a C- essentially or higher in those courses. So as I mentioned, there's 30 majors or minors that are total, but here are just a couple that I wanted to highlight. These are some that are more popular or more unique. The arts majors that we have are really popular, particularly musical theater and theater education, since there are not that many programs available in that field. Same thing with business analytics. Business, obviously, in general, is very popular as a major for students, but business analytics is not typically offered as a major within itself. It's usually a concentration of another business major, so that's a relatively unique program. Education is top ranked within our program, so very popular choice. Exercise and sports science and the sport and fitness studies degrees, something that are a little bit more unique and also really popular, especially with our Wake Tech transfer students. A number of social sciences that a lot of students are looking for, but also simulation and game design, which we were just ranked #1 for by universities.com. So quite a few options that are available for you. So what is life like really as a PACER? So immersive learning is a huge part of kind of what makes William Peace a little bit more unique. And what that really means is that we want you to learn more than what is in your textbook. We want to go beyond just the theory of things, but how do you then take that and apply that beyond the classroom? How do I apply it in an internship or in research or in a future career? And how can I utilize that information in a real world way? All of our classes are really embedded in this immersive learning outlook on education. So you'll have a lot of opportunity to really get that hands-on approach and learn how I can really take the information that I'm learning and make it useful in my future. And internships, as I mentioned, is a huge part of that. So again, getting students out into the real world, getting them some resume building experience in the workforce as well. Very important. Also a great testing site for you to be able to really make sure, is this what I want to do as a career long term? I think one of the best examples I had was a student who went into education. She went and did a student internship, doing a student teaching internship, and I remember bumping into her. She had an amazing experience. I asked her if she learned a lot. She says, yes, I learned a lot. I said, great, what did you learn? She said, I learned I don't want to be a teacher. She didn't enjoy it as much as she anticipated. She was really glad that she didn't spend her whole college career focused on that, only to go into the workforce and realize that it really wasn't a great fit for her. So that she was able to sort of reestablish what she enjoyed, what she didn't enjoy, and work really closely with both our internship office and our career design center to make sure that she found something that was fitting. And the career design center will help you with that job search process. They'll do mock interviews, resume writing workshops, cover letter writing workshops. They work with a lot of alum within the individual majors to match you up with someone to get a real feel for what the types of questions you're going to get in interviews and things like that look like. So fantastic resource that I would encourage you to go to sooner rather than later. And then residential life is also really strong on campus. As you can see, the majority of our students do live on campus, even once they have the opportunity to move away. So there's a really strong sense of community and bonding amongst our students. A lot of student activities that are going on campus, and that also crosses over to athletics as well and supporting our athletic teams. We have 18 D3 athletic sports teams and a number of intramural sports that are available. I think sometimes transfer students think because they maybe played a sport in high school and then they went to a community college that they can't join these teams, but you absolutely are eligible for that as well. So if that's something that you're interested in, by all means, make a note of that on your application. So I spoke a little bit earlier about kind of the general framework that we're looking at when we're looking at what transfers versus what doesn't. So as I said before, we take up to 90 transfer credits as long as it's a C- or higher in a 100 level or above class, meaning that if you took like pre-college math or pre-college English, those are the only types of courses that wouldn't necessarily transfer. But we also have a couple of different pathways that make it even simpler for you to make that transition. So we do participate in the North Carolina Independent Colleges Articulation Agreement, which basically means that any student that has an associate's degree from any North Carolina community college, and it doesn't matter what major or what program, get a huge portion of their liberal arts education requirements waived. Essentially, the only things that are left over that you would still be taking with us would be your 300 and 400 level courses, which are essentially your junior and senior level classes that you would take with us anyways. And then also statistics if you haven't already taken it here at Wake Tech. And I do suggest that if you have the time or the space in your schedule, take it here, get it out of the way so you don't have to worry about it after you transfer. It's a really good tip. But this really maximizes the credits that you're transferring over, makes the time to get your bachelor's degree as short as possible, and it's super flexible, so it's a really great opportunity for anyone with an associate's degree in any program. The second option for some of you that are in particular programs are the Wake Tech articulation agreements that we have in place. So just this year, actually, we re-signed a new umbrella agreement between Wake Tech and William Peace that basically lets you transfer everything from your associate's degree in these particular programs as a bulk transfer. So again, you don't have even the same restrictions as the previous example. It really gets mapped out one-to-one. It all transfers over. In the degree completion plans, you take X at Wake Tech and it transfers over, and then you take X at William Peace. Really simplified. Those plans are actually right on our website, so you can take a look at those. But those are the programs that are specifically listed here. So business administration, business analytics, criminal justice, health and fitness science, and health and fitness studies, and then the simulation and game design programs, both in art modeling and in programming. Now, cost is always a huge concern, especially for transfer students. You've already put time and money and effort into your education, and you want to make sure that that's being acknowledged, not just in that you're getting all of your credits transferred so that you're being acknowledged for all the work that you've already put in, but also making sure that you're able to do that at an affordable price. So this is something that we really strive for, and I think sometimes students hear private school and they think expensive, and that's not necessarily the case. Your sticker price that you see, what's listed on the website is the cost versus what your out-of-pocket costs are, can be very, very different. And that's definitely the case for most of our students. 100% of our students they receive some form of financial support from us. So everybody gets something, and there's a number of different forms that comes in. We have academic scholarships that are available for up to $15,000. For Wake Tech specifically, we have an additional $2,000 scholarship for anyone that completes their associate's degree. And that actually lists a minimum of 3.0, but they actually lowered that this year to a 2.5. So that's a new change that just occurred. So 2.5 or above, $2,000 that's given to you whenever you complete your associate's degree. Same thing if you have something that just shows that you're a Phi Theta Kappa member, you get an additional $2,000 scholarship. There's also a number of leadership and service scholarships that are available in varying amounts. And then there's need-based scholarships and grants that are available based on your FAFSA and what comes through there. And all of these are stackable, so it's not an either-or situation. So as you can see, these numbers can really add up to quite a bit. RaiseMe that you see listed there, that's a way to go on. It's an app, or you can go on their website as well. And the link is right there. But that's a way to earn micro scholarships, mostly for things that you're already doing. So if you're getting good grades, you can earn money for that. If you attend a virtual event, you can get money for that. If you do a tour, I think it's about $500. So you're earning small scholarships for things that most of the time you're already doing and taking part in. But it's a nice way to preview a minimum, because we guarantee that we're going to at least match what you're going to get at RaiseMe or go above that. So that will at least give you a baseline of, I know I'm at least receiving this amount in scholarship based on what you are earning in RaiseMe, but the vast majority of our students actually get more than that from us directly. So if all of this sounds good and it all seems to make sense and you are interested in moving forward, what does the application process look like? We try to keep it as simple as we possibly can. We have rolling admissions process, meaning that there's no hard deadline. We can work with you right up until the start of classes. And the application is very simple. We don't accept the Common App, the Transfer Common App. You do have to do the one that's on our website, but it's very simple and straightforward. There is no essay required. Instead, we have 3 short answers that really just help us get to know you a little bit better as a student, and also to see what kind of a fit William Peace is for you. We also would require your transcripts, your official transcripts from Wake Tech and also from any other college that you may have attended. We don't require high school transcripts. And there are optional interviews that are available. They're not required, but if you, say, had a semester where maybe you really struggled you felt like your grades weren't really strong, or you had a gap where you were out of school for a little bit, something that you wanted to address, that's a great opportunity to do that and to really get a chance to sit down and chat with me a little bit and give me more of your background. Same thing if you have some really amazing stories or experiences or strengths that you want to highlight that you didn't really see an appropriate place to do that for on the application, you can also use those optional interviews to really kind of get that across to us. We take a holistic approach to admissions, meaning that we're looking at the strengths and the factors and the experiences that you bring to the table as a student beyond just your GPA and test scores and things like that. We want to know you as a whole person and evaluate you as a whole person. So those interviews are a great way to sort of highlight some of those things as well. And we already have students that are enrolling and being accepted, admitted, and starting to get financial aid package estimates actually already for the fall. So I'd encourage you to apply as soon as you're ready. We do have a couple of other events that are coming up soon, so I did want to highlight a few of these as well. The link over on the side, that peace.edu/events, will give you our whole calendar. You can select admissions from the drop-down, and that will give you specific admissions events for our prospective and our admitted students. But a couple great ones that are coming up, we have Peace Preview on February 20th. This is similar to like an open house, but this one in particular is one of our student ambassador takeovers. So we're going to have a lot of students that are involved. They're going to basically be walking around campus, going into different areas, different labs, different parts of the dining hall and things like that, and kind of really showing you what it's like to be a student there. So that's a really great one. There's also a number of transfer sessions that are coming up. This is actually part of a 3-part series. So these info sessions are focused first on academic and career departments, then advising, and then financial aid, all specifically for transfer students. Added benefit, if you come to one of those events, we will waive your application fee. And if you come to all 3 events, there's actually some WPU swag that will be sent to you as well. We also do have both virtual and in-person tours that are available every day from 10 a.m. and then at 1 p.m. And I highly encourage you to check one of those out. They're all done by our student ambassadors, so you can really pick their brain about their experience, and our campus is really beautiful if you haven't been there already, so well worth the trip. So at this point, I'm happy to take any questions that pop up. In the meantime, if you go ahead, you can type those right into the chat box. But as you're doing that, my contact information, of course, is all listed here. It's my direct phone number, and the Calendly is that link is a way for you to sign up for either the optional interview if you're interested, or if you just want to schedule a quick phone call or video call or time to touch base, you can set an appointment up right through that link. It's really, really simple. And I do encourage you to check out our different social medias. So check out our Instagram page, check out Facebook. We also use an app called Zeemee, Z-E-E-M-E-E, which is a great way to interact with both us from a professional standpoint, but it's a lot of students, both students that are current at William Peace and also a lot of other students that are in your shoes and getting ready to apply.
Great, thank you so much. It does look like we have a couple of questions in the Q&A. So we'll go ahead and get started with those. Just as a reminder, you all can continue to put questions in. All right, so the first question is a student who's wondering, do they have to live on campus if they're going to transfer?
So for transfers, no. For our freshmen, the first time in college students, your first year, you are required generally to live on campus. As a transfer student, that's not the case. As you saw, the majority of our students, about 63%, do live on campus. There's a pretty strong community here. And you do have options. There's traditional dorms, there's more suite style dorms. We also have kind of our on-campus, off-campus apartments. They're on the outskirts of campus, and they're very much apartment style with, full kitchens and everything. So that's kind of a nice mid-step between living off campus and living on campus. But you do not have to. I will just say, if you decide that you want to be a commuter student, there is a commuter application form that you will fill out with housing instead of doing the housing documents. So just make sure you do that.
Great, thank you.
All right, the next question on here from a student says, I am pursuing a business administration associate, so the applied science, I'm guessing. I wonder how many years I will be looking at to complete a bachelor's degree.
So if you've completed the associate's degree in business administration, that is one of those articulation agreement programs. So most students are generally looking at about 2 years, maybe 2.5 years, depending on, how your program kind of fits in what you've taken. But because that's part of that direct articulation agreement, you're pretty much going right into your bachelor's degree. If you wanted somebody to take a look, I'm also happy if you wanted to shoot me an email with an unofficial transcript copy so that I have it in front of me. I am more than happy to kind of do some pre-advising and let you know kind of more specifically what that would look like.
Sorry, I was muted. The next question says, when should I apply to FAFSA if I'm looking at starting in spring 2022?
So the FAFSA every year is generally released in early October. So I would keep an eye out in October for those to be, so this coming October, it should reopen then for 2022. That would be the earliest that you could get in there and log in and get started. I would encourage you to go in and do it sooner rather than later, just in case questions pop up or you run into any issues. The priority deadline for FAFSA is generally March 1st. So sometime between October and March is going to be ideal.
Thank you. All right, if there's any other questions, please be sure to put them in the chat box. I have a question. So I know you were talking a lot about the internships, and it said that like 100% of students, is that, so do they work with like a faculty advisor to get kind of linked up with a certain organization, or how exactly does that work?
Sure. So the internships, they're kind of managed through our career design office, but there's a point person there who specifically works with internships and helping students to set those up. And they happen in a couple different ways. We have some students who will come to that office and say, oh, there's this company in this area, they have an internship, program. I really want to go there. Like, that's where I want to do it. And they will help kind of facilitate them in that process. Sometimes there's an application process or an interview or essays or things like that that are involved. So they want to make sure that they're really strengthening and helping you to put your best foot forward. There's also students, of course, that come in and say, well, here's my major. I know I have to do an internship, but I have no idea where to go or what connections to use. Because we have such a strong reputation in internships and we've been doing this for so long, we have a huge network of companies that we've worked with. They come back year after year looking for students, a huge network of alumni now that are out in the workforce who know that this is part of the program. So they can also help facilitate that process, even if you have no idea necessarily where you want to do your internship or what that's going to look like. They can kind of help you through the search process, the application process, and help match you.
That's awesome. I wish I had that kind of help. I have another question that came in. It says, what is the tuition cost per year?
So it depends on whether you are going to be commuting or not, first of all. It comes out to just under $38,000 per year for tuition. That does include all of your textbooks. That's part of your tuition cost. And then it goes up to, I believe it's between $41,000 and $42,000 for room and board in addition to that. Or total, sorry, rather than in addition.
Thank you.
While we wait for some additional questions, I know that I work with a lot of students, and some may be on this call. I work with a lot of students who are interested in your simulation and game development program. I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit more about that program and the agreements between Wake Tech and William Peace.
Absolutely. So Roger Chrisman is the head of the simulation and game design program here, and he will tell you he loves getting Wake Tech transfer students because the instructors for you all, they do such a great job at preparing you at all the technical aspects of really what that job looks like. And so for Roger and for his team, which includes Brandon Davis, who also actually was a Wake Tech instructor, so he knows exactly what you all are covering in your classes. For them, they want to take you to that next level, not just to have those technical skills that you need, but also to be able to do the storytelling aspects of gaming or simulation, to be able to handle some of those marketing and kind of business strategies, the client to, connections and things like that. So kind of taking that up to the next level to really put you into sort of more managerial roles. As a quick plug, I will say Roger and Brandon are actually doing an SGD presentation that I believe there's going to be a Teams link sent out by Cindy soon, because we are going to be joining you on the club meeting at 1 o'clock on Monday, March 1st. So he's going to be doing a presentation specifically about what that transition looks like for SGD. What are you going to do for your junior and senior year, and what kind of things they're focusing on? So keep an eye out for that email as well.
Great, thank you. Another question that I had was just about, and I think this is important for students across the board, no matter what they go into, but was just about the support services you offer at William and Peace. I know that we were able to visit before the pandemic, and it looked like there were a lot of like tutoring services, a lot of support that you all provided. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So they're very deliberate in how they set up some of our support services, which I think is really great. And part of that is just the physical space. So your advisors, our advising department, our tutoring department, our mentoring and first year experience, they are all located in the same area physically of the building. So if you're going to your advisor because you're running into issues with your classes or you're struggling with something, they're right next to the tutoring center. And they all work very closely together with each other so that they can make sure that they're really, making sure you're successful and that things aren't falling through the cracks. Sometimes I think there are schools where you go and you talk to your advisor and maybe you say that you're struggling, but then it never gets past your advisor. And then what happens to those students? Like I said, we have a really tight-knit community and very mentorship community at William Peace. So everyone works very closely together. So retention, advising, faculty, and tutoring are all very close, not just in their relationships that they're, that they have from being in a similar field, but also just physically on campus, which has really helped. So, and of course, on top of that, we have our disability support services, mental health counseling services. So you really do have a full range of support services that are available to you.
With that being said, we just got another question in. The student is wondering if William Peace has any programs or communities for veterans.
We do. So we have a couple of things that are run through our student activity centers. We do have quite a few veterans on campus. I actually work with all of the incoming veterans as well on making sure their paperwork, their certificate of eligibility, all of that stuff is settled for financial aid. So if you have questions about anything within that entry process, please let me know. We also do have Air Force and Army ROTC programs that are available for students that are coming in and interested in those programs, and that kind of strengthens that military presence on campus as well. And those are partnered with local institutions. So those are partnered with like NC State. So again, you're kind of expanding even that military connection beyond just William Peace. So quite a few options there.
Sounds great. All right. Please be sure to get any other questions in. We will go ahead and post the survey link while we're waiting. Ashley, tell us what your favorite thing about the campus or the the environment is. What kind of feel or just what's your favorite thing? What's something unique about William Peace?
I mean, the campus is gorgeous. I really can't kind of stress that. It looks, you know, straight out of a magazine. A lot of old kind of these like Greek revival style brick buildings with white pillars. So if you picture a college campus in your head, that's really what you're seeing. You know, big rolling quads. You have a beautiful fountain out front that is kind of the picture that you see on a lot of our stuff, which is great. And there's some great traditions around that as well. You'll get a rose when you first enter William Peace, and then you actually get another rose upon graduation. Everyone tosses their rose into the fountain upon leaving. So that's kind of the tradition upon graduation. But honestly, I think the biggest thing is I truly cannot say enough about the community. The teachers love their students, the faculty love their students, staff are incredibly supportive. They will really bend over backwards to make sure that your needs are being fulfilled and that you're being supported, and not just your academics, but really what your future goals are, and even things that are happening you know, outside of the classroom. Life happens to everybody, and they really want to make sure that you feel like you have a home at William Peace. So I really can't say enough about the community itself.
Yeah, when we did go just before the pandemic last year, it was so beautiful. All right. We went ahead and posted the survey link. So any students in attendance, please be sure to fill out the link. And if you do, your name will be entered to win a $25 gift card. We do appreciate any student feedback. And it looks like we have a new question. All right, the new question for you, Ashley, says, let's see, at the additional transfer sessions mentioned earlier, do we have to make an account anywhere to have our attendance tracked? I plan to attend William Peace in spring 2023.
Gotcha. So those are going to be events that are done right through Zoom, actually. So nothing, you know, too crazy there. There's going to be some email reminders if you've already reached out, if you've done like a request for information form, or you've kind of been in contact with us before, you'll be part of that email list. If not, you know, if you started an application, anything like that. If not, like I said, there's that peace.edu/events. You can actually type transfer in the search box, and it will specifically pull up those transfer events, for example. But there's a quick registration form that you fill out that you're interested in attending those, and that will kind of put you on the email list for reminders and things like that of when they're coming up. So you can certainly go and find and attend those, and they're all done right through Zoom. And just as a reminder, if you attend one, you can have your application fee waived. If you attend all three, we send a little gift box with some swag to you.
Awesome. All right, well, if there are no more questions, I will end the live event here in just a minute. At this time, Ashley, if there's anything else you want to share with the students, or just, I know you put up your contact information. Hopefully the students took a photo, but if you just kind of want to say some last words, and then we'll wrap it up for you.
Of course. Yeah, as I mentioned, my contact information was all shared there. Please don't hesitate to reach out for any reason at all. I'm really here to be your advocate and to make sure that this process is as seamless and just smooth and simple as we can possibly make it. So I'm happy to help about absolutely anything. Don't feel like anything is too small or silly. I'm also just happy to help with just general advice. Even if William Peace isn't necessarily the place for you, by all means, feel free to reach out. We can talk about those advising, those pre-advising, you know, appointments, and getting an idea of what will transfer. We can talk about the application process. So by all means, don't hesitate to get in touch. And I definitely would encourage you to check out the tours and the events that are coming up, because those are going to have some really great information and some other faculty and staff members that are going to be presenting as well.
All right, awesome. And if it's all right with you, I'm just going to post your email address in that chat box for the students, just in case they did not get a chance to take a picture. All right. Well, again, we would like to thank all of our students who attended today, and definitely a big thank you to Ashley for all the information. Hopefully we will see you sometime in the near future on campus again. But thank you so much. I will go ahead and end the live event.
Thank you.